Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Skodje and today I will answer another QA question. Timer node, how to use it in code. Hi, I want to use timer node for attack function and other things later, but I have zero idea how to use it and information online didn't help at all. How can I write code that starts counting time, for example from when I press X button and then when it's reached 2 seconds, only then X button becomes active again? Or suggest your way, please. I have a cannon here, which I have created ahead of time. It's just a simple node 2D with a sprite and a position 2D. Now this position 2D will be used to set the position of where the bullets will start shooting, or be created at, spawned. I also have a UI only for demonstration purposes, so I can show you the timer that's set between. And the cannonball itself is just one sprite. It is nothing fancy. It's just for demonstration purposes. You just have a movement speed, it just has its own process, and it just moves. However, if the ball leaves the screen, we of course will queue free it, which basically just removes it. Okay, let's jump into our cannon code here. Now, I assume you have some code ready. So what I have is basically just UI, which you just ignore. It's just for demonstration purposes. We have a cannonball scene here, which is set by using the editor itself, which is really nice when you use export. I do recommend to check it out. Now, information about export you can find on Godot's documentation pages. Okay, so what's happening here is we are enabling input. So whenever you press this space button right here, we are creating a new instance of the cannonball scene. Then you are setting the position for the ball you're creating, and then you add it to the scene tree by using getParent and addChild. I'm using getParent because if your character or your cannon is moving, the ball that it shoots will also move with it, and you probably don't want it to do that. And lastly, I have a process which I will use to update the delay for the UI that will show you what's really happening here. So let's start by creating our timer here. Now I'm gonna hit the timer, set it equal to null. Now I'm going to need a bullet delay, and you wanted it to be 2 seconds. I'm gonna put 2 there. And lastly, we need a boolean can shoot, and whenever it is true, whenever it is true, we will enable shooting here. Now before we get that far, we are going to create a timer here. Shoot delay. So we're gonna add timer equals Timer.new. Now this timer is going to only run once each time we press the shoot button, so set one shot to true. And we also need a wait time, so we need to set the wait time to be equal to the delay you want. Now when this delay has been triggered, or rather when it starts, after 2 seconds it's going to be running a timeout function inside itself, and we're going to connect this timeout with our script. And then it will run a method called, let's call it on shoot. Let's call it on timeout complete here. That makes more sense. So on timeout complete, on the timeout complete, we will run on timeout complete, which is a function we are going to create right now. So func on timeout complete, we are going to enable shooting. Enable shooting here. There we go. On timer timeout complete, so we know what this is here. So when this happens, this will run at timeout, and that will only happen after the wait time has completed. So let's lastly add child timer, so it'll become a child of cannon. It doesn't really matter where you do this. You can put this timer anywhere as long as you connect it with timeout on yourself here, or whatever other script you may want to connect it with. Okay, so let's go to input here. Now currently I can shoot whenever I want. I can just hold down the button and it will just snake it away. Create a snake with bullets. So we only want to shoot when can shoot is true. So we add a and can shoot right there. Now since we know it's true by default, this is fine. But we need to remember to disable it after shooting. Until timer's timeout complete. That's a mouthful. So can shoot is now false. But nothing is going to happen now, except that I can only shoot once. Because we haven't started the timer yet. We need to start the timer. So I'm going to use this timer variable. And under here, I'm going to start the timer. And that's done by just using the variable timer and start. And now I'm holding down the shoot button. And after 2 seconds, you can shoot. But let's make it more visual by enabling this here. I'm shooting, and now we have to wait 2 seconds before I can shoot again. And that's how you create a delay, using a timer. I hope that answered your question. And if it didn't, let me know. If it did, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Yeah, imagine effects here, that'd be cool.